Let's read some one-star reviews of some of my favorite books of all time. Hi, hello, welcome back, Lucas Besties, to another video. As you see by today's title and the intro of this video, we are going to be reading some one-star reviews of some of my favorite books that I have read this year, last year, and so on and so forth. I feel like it's going to go so well. I've already kind of picked out 3 to 4 reviews already from Goodreads for each of these books. I own pretty much all of them except for one of them, which is a recent favorite of mine that I haven't stopped thinking about, and I have BookTube for the library. I should probably read it. So you know what I'm saying? I have to, because reading one-star reviews sometimes makes me giggle. Like finding some of these make me giggle. So let's hop right into it. I have my handy phone here. I Now that I'm using CapCut to edit, I can actually place stuff on the screen as I speak, so we can all experience it together and go from there. So we're gonna start with um one that I really enjoyed, and I think book two is gonna be even better, which is Quicksilver by Callie Hort. I tabbed the crap out of this book. I need to go back and annotate it at some point, and I will. It's not a priority just because the tabs are already in it, and I don't prioritize going back to annotate a book that I fully tabbed because it's tabbed. I know where my moments are. I don't feel like I need to annotate it, so it's not a priority. But that's not the point of this video. The point is the one-star review. So let's hop right into it. I actually have a review from somebody I follow on BookTube, like I'm subscribed to on BookTube, who makes occasional videos here and there. Her name is Katie. So, but yeah, let's just hop right into these reviews. Like I said, I have 3 to 4 of each, and we're starting right here with this bad boy, this choker that I read earlier this year and really fell in love with. Like I haven't stopped thinking about Sirius. And what's his name? Oh, what is the comic relief character's name that he dies? I will be contacting Callie Hart about. I cannot remember for the life of me. Carrion. Let's go. I muscled through 6.5 hours of this audiobook and simply couldn't stomach a moment more. What book are you reading? Because I haven't heard of her. This book forever was trash. You want me to swim for a man that calls it wet? Okay, yeah, no, she's right about that one. Wet folds, not once, not twice, but multiple times. I'd rather pull my skin off and staple it back on inside out. Thanks though. That sounds painful. Also, the typos all alone are an army too big and powerful for me to conquer. Sorry, let me shut my mouth and allow those who feast to enjoy their harvest. To those who celebrate, be merry. To those who fester, I am in the dark crevices beside you, longing and willing to draw the deepest hate out of moment's loathing. All who gather here be. I did skip a paragraph, but I didn't feel like reading it. But yeah, no, because this book is technically this this feels like a Wattpad fan fiction in the correct way, like in a perfect way. Yeah, like I don't think that makes sense, but it makes it in my head, so who cares? Another one-star review says this is the age of romance authors dabbling in fantasy and romance readers 4 out of 5 staring them. What is wrong with them? Oh, starring them. What is wrong with them? I'm like 4 to 5 staring, starring, because it gives us shit like this book. I'm judging everyone who liked this book. Please unfriend me immediately. Stop making mediocre authors famous, romance authors evil. Leave the fancy drama to its own people. For God's sake, work on your own books. God, just another fourth reading and reckless wannabe. Not that either of those was good. Next, you'll tell me Colleen Hoover is writing a fantasy. Comparing this to Fourth Wing feels wrong because this has no similarities to Fourth Wing, in my opinion. I read Fourth Wing like a really long time ago, like when it originally came out. So I don't see the similarities between this and Fourth Wing, unless there's some similarities that I'm missing, and we can talk about those. But I don't see any similarities. I've also never read Powerless, so I can't speak on the cop to Reckless because I've never read it. I don't want to read it. This is literally one sentence. I'm convinced everyone who is I'm convinced everyone is being held at gunpoint rating this 5 stars. I'm not gonna lie, I read that and it made me giggle. No, because like, why do people think that? Like, why do people think that we're like just giving 5 stars? Like, reading is very subjective. Just saying. So I let you in on a little secret. But those are the 1 star reviews for Quicksilver. And I don't feel like they're very off base because honestly, if I wasn't like, yes, I look at some Roman fantasy books critically because people are like, oh, this and this and this happens. And I think about it critically. But a lot of my Roman fantasy books, I go in for a silly, goofy, fun time. The only fantasy books that I go into that I'm thinking critically about are like the Poppy War, the Jasmine Throne, stuff like that, like the high epic fantasies. Romantic is supposed to be silly goofy. Next one that we have is Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Roarick, a series that I'm absolutely, definitely going to have to get back to by the second half of this year and go into her other series that follows this one and then get into her other books. She has this whole like chaos person, I think it's called, and I want to deep dive so deep in it. It's scary. But yes, I this is one of my favorites. If you know, you know. I hated the FMC. She was mean to everyone just to be mean. There was nothing likable about her. She even slapped people across the face multiple times. Her friends don't even call her out on it and just coddle her to death. Also, this felt like copy and paste of a very popular series. I know there can be similarities to fantasy romance, but the similarities were glaringly obvious. I'm baffled that so many people love this, to be honest. The popular series that she's comparing this to is Throne of Glass. This gets comped to Throne of Glass like all the time, and I see the similarities. But once you get deeper into this, they branch out to totally different things, and I love that for everyone involved. But also, there are some strong differences, and this one's a little bit of a lengthy one, as you can see by the screen. It's a little bit of a lengthy one, but we're gonna read it. It says, there wasn't an original thought in this book, unfortunately. I'm growing more concerned with book talk authors lately and the blatant character slash plot copying from successful authors. There have been more and more lately using things that worked well in other variables and just copy pasting them into their own for a selling point. You can use tropes that are in other books. Hell, you can even have some character similarities, or something has to be unique about your story for me to want to read it. After reading a good portion of this book and getting major ick from the annoying as fuck FMC that's basically a wish.com Alan, I decided to look at reviews for it to make sure I wasn't crazy, and then stumbled down the rabbit hole that are BookTube reviews. Some are calling it flat out plagiarism. Glad I'm stopping here. I will not support an author writing of the success of others. DNF. I will never continue anything the author puts out. Again, again, again. Another one. This isn't like blatant plagiarism. I really don't think it is. And I'm saying as a person who has read through all the way up through Queen of Shadows and Throne of Glass. Okay, I have read nearly the entire series. I have read, what is that, 5 out of the 8 books in that series. I have read over half the series in itself, and I have noticed the stark differences in just the first 2 books of this, like the stark differences in the two. And there's so many of them. If you pay attention, you will get them. Like, yes, there are similarities, but I can say that about any fucking book I would pick up where there's an assassin as the main character who turns out to be a queen. Just saying. Just thought I'd point that out. Okay, and the last one is 1 star. Scarlet is undeniably the worst main character I've ever read. She is the reason I DNF at 63%. I would not recommend this unless you want to make a drinking game out of every time Scarlet says, I am darkness. Does she really say it that much? This is how I know I need to reread it because I remember her saying it, but I don't think I realized how many times she actually does say it. Maybe I am the problem. Those are the 1 star reviews for Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Warwick. I remember I made an Annotate With Me video on this last year, guys. If you were here for that, you're a real one and you've stuck around. The next one is one that I actually quite frequently go to look at 1 star reviews on just for fun. Just for like my own entertainment. And let's start the what the Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I love looking at 1-star reviews of this because they're hilarious. They are. They truly are. I don't know why I find them so hilarious, but I find them like I'm cackling when I'm reading some of these. So this first one just made me giggle. It says, should have stopped reading at the mention of this tale. If you would have told 17, 18-year-old me that when I read, no, I was like 16 when I read this. If you would have told like 16-year-old me that I would like an MMC with the tale, I wouldn't have believed you. Because it's one of the first books I read when I got back into reading during COVID. I've been reading this book since last year. I kept putting it down because I got bored while reading it. The story wasn't interesting enough. I literally had to force myself to finish it. I know a lot of people liked it, but I just couldn't. This was really bad, in my opinion. And you know what? I value your opinion because you didn't bash it. You just said you didn't like it. And I applaud you for it. Talk your shit, queen. Clock it. Bro, these vocal stems go crazy. I'm too autistic for this. Ah! DNF at page 173. How the fuck is this book so hyped? I expected to be fantasy with political intrigues and complexities, and instead I got high school drama, bullies, and one dumb as hell main character. No, thank you. And you know what? That's so valid because while, yes, you technically do get political intrigue, character complexities, and all of that, but you do get a little bit of high school drama mixed in there at the beginning of it. But then once you dive into like all the politics and everything, oh baby, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, those are the 1-star reviews of The Cruel Prince. I yeah, I don't take these to heart because you can't change my mind. I've read this series like 3 times now in my life, and all at different points in my life. The first time I read the series, it became my favorite of mine at like 15, 16 years old. And I reread it again back in like 2022 or 2023, I believe. And I learned these again late last year. Absolutely loved them all over again. So there's at no point have I not lived these. Like I just didn't card it on my life. Yeah. The next one is for the book that I don't have, and that's The Final Night by Bridget Kimmerer. This is a recent favorite of mine. I really, really enjoyed it. Cannot stop thinking about it, and I need Bridget Kimmerer to give me like I need her to write all day. I'm eventually gonna get to a curse so dark and lonely. I just kind of want to go backwards in her publication. I know she technically has a series that comes after A Curse of Dark and Lonely, also that came like before Warrior Princess Assassin. But I want to read A Curse of Dark and Lonely before I read that one because it's a sequel. See, it was pretty vague, but let me help you understand what this book is about. But be warned, there are major spoilers that you will absolutely not pick up at any point in the book whatsoever. You have been warned. I'm serious. Don't read unless you want uber duper mega mighty spoilers about what this book is about. To those who didn't know, this book is about Tessa, a girl who wears homespun skirts, whose parents died and she has dead parents. She wears homespun skirts as the apothecary kid she got from her dad who was dead. And she had a mom, but she is also dead. And her mom and dad, her parents are dead. She also wears skirts made of homespun material that was spun like, oh my. It shouldn't be funny. It really shouldn't be, but I'm having a giggly time with this. That made me giggle. That made me giggle really hard. Did you tell? Like, it shouldn't be funny, but it's the way that it was. That was off. That was like one of the reasons why I didn't give it 5 stars was just because the emphasis on the fact that your parents are dead. Like she mentioned it at least once every chapter that her parents were dead. It was that serious for her at least. I mean, I get it's her parents, but like This one had a lot of promise, and the premise caught my eye. Although once we got into the story, the writing style with its overuse of ellipses and filler, along with characters I could not get interested in, made this one a flop for me. I love the plague aspect, but we never really get to know much about it or how they discovered the Moonflowers were the treatment. I just felt like nothing was happening for the first half of this book. I found myself just really bored. It does drag a little bit. Like if you don't want to have to work for this book to get interesting, don't read it. I do say that. Like it does take a second for it to get into the thickness of the plot and the political intrigue and all of that. But once you're in it, and you don't want to stop. I recommend it. I don't care. I recommend it. And this review makes a valid point. Sorry, like I don't know if I'm just an asshole or a terrible person, but this book felt like the author spent 400 pages desperately trying to prove how not morally righteous and so super selfless Tessa and Wish are, and honestly, it was annoying. Like, damn. Also, that little scene with everyone gushing about all the things Tessa did for them. If you know, you know. Like, what the fuck was that? If not the author trying to prove to you that her character was better than you will ever. That scene definitely felt like it was meant. That scene, one felt like yes, it was meant to prove that Tessa is fighting for them with the Royals and everything, but it also just felt like an ego boost for Tessa in a way, and I get it. I get it. And so those were the 1-star reviews for The Feather Knight. I really like the book. I definitely recommend it. Go read it. The next one I have is Legendborn by Trisha Dion. If you watch my God Tier series, you listen to my God Tier series. I love this series so very much. I'm actually about to read those down pretty soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see what actually happens. Um, but Legendborn, one of my favorites. Love it. Black Girl Magic. Love it. So let's get into the reviews because I already know some controversies surrounding this book. This was just a mess of teenage hormones. Even though I truly liked and appreciated what this book was trying to do, I must say it suffered a lot with the fact that the author wanted to put a ton of things and topics inside a small jar. And she tried to make it better by creating a book with too many pages, in my opinion. Also, do I need to say how unnecessary and utterly cliche the romance was? No chemistry at all. Clingy, cringy, and a little bit creepy if you stop to think about the fact that Brie is only 16 years old and Nick, just like Sel would say, what a prick. I absolutely adored the social commentary that this book brought, but unfortunately the main focus of the story, that was the Legendborn, just felt too weak and a copy of too many fantasies that you could find out there in the world. I don't feel like I'm trying to think of like other YA fantasy books that like have like the Legendborn like type of field, and I can't think of any. I can't think of any, and if I do, I'll let you know. But like, I don't feel like this is similar. Is the love triangle a little cliche? A little bit, yeah, because a love triangle with Nick, Bree, and Cell. But like, I think it's good. I think it's good. Is it maybe a little weird? Yeah, can't lie, it's a little weird. Like, not gonna lie to you, it is a little creepy as hell. Because Cell is, I think Cell's like 18, 19. I don't even know how old Cell is. But, you know, I digress. DNF had colonizer magic. This was after the constant mention of I am black and everything says everyone is racist, even though I judge everyone based on their looks. And yeah, I am crushing on this basic white boy after 2 days. And just never mind that my personality is extremely ignoring. My first near DNF was the info dump chapter, which makes it impossible to understand what the hell is happening after that. But I have a feeling it don't matter to what? But it don't matter. They want the woke points and will like this book. I tried. I really tried. It's terrible. That last sentence just fucked with my dyslexia, and I don't know if that any of that was correct grammar because I was reading it straight off the review. So I don't even know because it fucked with me so bad. But yeah, I think the literal point is it's supposed to be like colonized magic. I think that's part of the story. It's basically saying white people colonize a lot of the things black people. I think we missed a point somewhere in the book. where we just to disconnect. We disconnected somewhere there because that's the point. Oh, this is a long one, so buckle in because it's long. I don't know why I'm showing you like you can already see it on the camera, but like I mean see it on the screen, but like this was long. She tried. I am definitely split writing this, but I won't give in to rewarding something just because it has a cultural value. The black part of me feel like this feel part of me likes that the author tried to acknowledge and put in some of our struggles, but I don't think it was done in a productive manner. She portrayed a consistently victimized black person, and this is just one perspective that isn't truly reflective of the total black experience. It's somewhat unfair to white people making them all seem ignorant or outright belligerent. It's unfair to black people making it look like we are constantly worried about race. Some of us are proud and extremely happy with what we have achieved and feel a connection to all that came before us without the explicit need for family walls and names. There is injustice and unfairness in Black Lives, but this was a ham-handed way to present it. The fancy book lover in me hated the main character. She was entitled, whiny, and overall weak. She was crazy, self-righteous, and bold, but when it came to actually facing eternal external challenges, she ran or collapsed. It was like watching a child throw temper tantrums to get her way, and then when she did and realizing it wasn't what she wanted, throwing it away. The meta system could have been interesting if you didn't have to wait 85% book to get to it. I applaud the effort, but I truly didn't enjoy the experience. First of all, this is Amam is really cute and sweet for you. One, she is a child. She's literally 16 years old who just lost her mother. I feel that's all I need to say for that part of it. She's literally a child who lost her mother at 16 years old. Two, she's allowed to be whiny because she just lost her mother. But also, in this, we did more than just her perspective on the Black experience. We have her talking to other Black people and sharing their experience. I said what I said, I meant what I said. Anyways, moving on. Read the book. If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. If these reviews have made you want to read it, then definitely read it. I don't know, but you should read it. It's really good. So those were the 1-star reviews for Legend Born Mercy Dion. I need to get back to annotating this because I was having a fun, silly, goofy time with this. Not gonna lie. These last three that I have are all 5 stars, but the next one we have is Insatiable, my most recent 5-star. Tab the hell out of this book too. I'm tabbing book 2 and book 3 like this. Okay. But we have Insatiable by Lee Rivers, which is a very, very dark romance. Like if you go into this, please, I beg you to look at the trigger warnings if you don't, if you have never read dark romance and this is where you want to start, or if you're just like dabbling into dark romance and you've only read like 2 to 3 with trigger warnings. I read like 2, 3 off in the video where I read this, but I didn't read all of them, because I don't mind. I also don't like spoilers. I don't mind spoilers, so I yeah, but yeah, you if you are dabbling in dark romance and you don't know what this is gonna be for you or not, look up trigger warnings because this is dark. This is not like light, fluffy, easy dark romance at all. No, 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 no. This isn't like a silly goofy mafia. No, 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 no. I want to say that before we start the reading the reviews for this because this gets dark and heavy, and I haven't even started book 2 yet, but I'm starting it in my vlog, not next week, but the week after. Whoa! Whoa! Let's get to the reviews. If you ask me for the plot or for any scene that's not just sex, I wouldn't know what to tell you. Couldn't connect with the characters. Where the fuck is Stacy's personality? Why did 18-year-old Kate act like a 12-year-old? Or the relationship? It felt like I was reading a sequel, not a first book. There was so much missing, like communication. Yeah, that's the whole point. I fear sometimes the point of the whole book goes over people's head. I fear, like, yes, there was miscommunication, but would you, slight spoilers if you ever read it, would you want to read, would you want to see your girlfriend after finding her with your brother? After getting a video of her with your brother? Okay, thanks. That's all I want to know. This was quite literally so bad. It was not only horrible fanfic writing, but an absolute mess of a plot. You mean to tell me in just a short few years, this dude went from being a semi-normal kid that had no technical training to this killing machine that has a whole secret organization? You have got to be kidding me, right? I think I disliked quite literally everything about this book. Fiction, not real. So yes. Yes. But also, this was a fanfic before it was ever traditionally published. This was like on Wattpad, I believe, from what I know. From what I have looked into for this book, this was previously on Wattpad before it ever got published. So, this last review made me giggle when I read it. It says, the only sane person in this book is Cade's dad. Mind you, he's in the fucking asylum. No, because Cade's dad, even though he's in the asylum, he feels like the most normal person. He really does. Even though he's literally in a mental asylum for everything he does to Cade's mom. Tobias Mitchell? Yeah. Yeah, no. Both. Cade and Tobias? Both. There's no or. It's Cade and Tobias. Tobias and Cade. Both. Okay, thank you. But the next book we're gonna do is Dire Bound, only because I'm reading Fury Bound later this month, so it only feels right to read some one stars reviews about this because I know it has some haters. I do. Also, I wanted to just check it out because this. Yeah, sorry, I had to shut that off really fast. I love the naked hardcover of this. I also love the end papers, but we don't need to get into that. Dire Bound by Sybil Sorensen. I have never written a review before, but upon finishing this book, I feel compelled to speak my truth. There are so many things I could say about this book, but in the spirit of not giving away spoilers, all I will say is reading this made me want to throw my kid off a cliff. It's off the it is as if the author was like, hey, what if I copied and pasted Fourth Wing, replaced dragons with dire wolves, and then made it way worse so it's borderline unreadable for literally 70% of the book. And someone should have told me her no, in my opinion. The only reason this even got 1 star for me was the last few chapters, and honestly, that's generous. The fact that this is so highly rated on here makes me want to weep and question humanity. As a person who has read both Dire Bound and Fourth Wing, I feel like this is way better. Oh, I said it. I don't think I've ever voiced an opinion on the internet, and that's a scary thought because the internet is a scary place. Please, no one threaten me. Another Fourth Wing comparison. Fourth Wing, but with wolves instead of dragons. Literally, there's so much of the plot that's a straight copy paste. And the most unstoppable female main character. There was basically nothing about this I liked. The plot twists were obvious from the very beginning, and the plot drags. I feel like there's only one plot twist I saw coming in this book, and that was only because as we got closer to the reveal of it, I caught on to what the book was trying to say. And I caught on to it. I understood it, but that was like the only one that I saw coming. But it's also like a common trope in romantasy, so it shouldn't have been that shocking for it to be a trope, like a plot twist. I don't know. Another kind of long one, as you can see. It says, why are people out here praising this? It's like to try to use every single cliche ever written before in one book. Enemies to lovers, check. Found family, check. Warrior heroine, check. Mates, check. Bonds, check. Vampires, check again. Who did this to you? Check. Two people, one bed, check. I mean, I'm sure there's more we could add to the list, but I can't really tell since I won't be finishing this book. Please stop trying to copy what has already been done, but already been written before, and create your own thing. Zero world building, zero chemistry between the main characters, and the writing felt both extremely rushed and confusing. I'm sorry, this is just plain terrible. Say you don't read for fun without saying you don't read for fun. I should have known as soon as the term kitten came up that it wouldn't be good. Honestly, if I hadn't kept reading and the book hadn't gone the way it was gone, I would have solely DNF'd this book for Kitten if I wasn't invested in the story and the plot line and where this book was going. Because Kitten, the first time I read that, I'm literally counting them in my reread I'm about to do. I'm literally gonna count them. I think we already have two in chapter one. Yeah, we do. And there, one is here. It says Icky one. The next one is literally here, Icky two. Not even like yeah, yeah. So I will be counting them on my reread. And last but not least, we have Heavenly Bodies. We all know this was coming because this is my favorite book of 2026 so far. Nothing has beat it out. I do fear that Voracious or Restitution is going to beat this out just because those books are going to absolutely destroy me, mind, body, and soul. But I already know what some of these reviews are going to look like because people don't know how to have fun when reading books and romantasy. And we're all here for a good time. So let's read some one-star reviews. Book talk has led me to another shitty book, and I'm taking a very long break from the recommendations. This book had potential, but it was very obvious this was her first novel. The pacing was all wrong, and there was every trope imaginable thrown into it. The dialogue of the characters was cringe and varied from casually to overly proper. It was way too long. It's a huge shame because the story could have been so good. It's such a good plot, but it was just written like a Wattpad story the whole second half. I think this author has potential, and I hope she grows as a writer because she definitely has some good ideas. The execution was just not there. Again, I feel like people use Wattpad as a negative, but I use Wattpad as a positive because some of my favorite stories have been from Wattpad. No lie, no cap, no Diddy. I don't know what the other places. But I have also my favorite stories from Wattpad. So when I say it's like a Wattpad story, I mean it in a good way. And I say that every time I say that. You can't just write trope after trope and think that it makes a worthwhile story. One giant cliche and the writing was boring. I wanted to like it and I bought into the hype, but yikes. Well, babes, then don't buy into the hype. I don't know what to tell you. People act as if they have to read these books. People act as if they don't have free will when it comes to reading and a lot of other things in life. I said what I said. I'm one to speak my mind and my soul. The first chapter had so much potential, and then the more I read, the worse it seemed to get. By the eighth or ninth chapter, it had more of a Wattpad quality feel to it, with a bunch of popular tropes shoved in, which wasn't done very well, and was about 200 pages too long. How long is this book? I think it's 485 pages or something like that. I don't feel like it's too long. I feel like this is a standard for a romantasy book. It's not that bad. I see all my tabs. Anyways, there we are. There are the one-star reviews of some of my favorite books. I'm pretty sure all of these are higher than a 4.5 or higher. I have other books on my shelf, and other books I have read from the library and things. So I can do another video like this. I think I want to do another one because I had fun scrolling through and like reading some of the reviews for some of these. I'm still thinking about the one about Cade's dad and how he's the same one out of all of them because it's true. Cade's dad is in an insane asylum. He's literally in an asylum, and he feels kind of like normal somewhat, although he's probably batshit crazy. But I digress. I had a fun time, like I said, looking at one-star reviews for these books because sometimes you just need somebody to humble you really quickly. Although a lot of these I had very combative with, and I digress. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be reading like highly like books I rated 3 stars and below. I will be reading or like books at DNF. I will be reading 5-star reviews. That's another video I'm gonna do of reading 5 stars, 5-star reviews of books I didn't like for DNF. So be on the lookout for that one because I think it's coming not this week, but the week after maybe on my birthday. somewhere there. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Have a great day, night. Have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon, and whatever part of the world you are having it in. Down below, as always, Goodreads, fuel, Instagram for you to go check out if you would like. And I will see you guys in my next video. If you have any issues with these, let me know down below and I'll get combine it with you. I guess. I don't know. Shit. Bye.